Okay, members of the Board of Trustees, please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson William C. Thompson, Jr.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Barry Schwartz.
Present.
Trustee Michael Arvanites is absent and excused. Trustee Henry Berger.
Present.
Trustee Una Clark.
Present.
Trustee Lorraine Cortez Vasquez. Okay, we'll give her a minute. We'll come back. Trustee Fernando Ferrer.
Here.
Trustee Kevin Kim.
Present.
Trustee Myra Linares Garcia.
Present.
Trustee Robert Mujica.
Here.
Trustee Brian Oberfell.
Present.
Trustee Jill O'Donnell Tormey.
Present.
Trustee Charles Shorter. I think that's a mute issue. We can come back.
Take us off of mute, Charlie.
Right. Trustee Ken Sunshine. Trustee Sandra Wilkin.
Present.
Trustee Martin Burke.
Present.
And Trustee Timothy Hunter.
Present.
Okay, so
I'm
you have
sorry,
a
I was on-
Quorum.
You're
I
on
was
mute,
on
Charlie.
mute.
I got you. Yep.
All right. This public meeting of the City University of New York Board of Trustees is now called to order. On March 7th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202, declaring a state of emergency in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. On March 13th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202.1, which included a suspension of law allowing the attendance of meetings telephonically or other similar service. Article 7 of the Public Services Law, the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take such actions authorized by the law without permitting in-person access to meetings, and authorized meetings to be held remotely by conference call or similar service, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to such proceeding and that meetings are recorded and later transcribed. In accordance with the executive order, this board meeting is being held by a teleconference with a live stream found at the CUNY Board of Trustees website, as well as on CUNY TV Channel 75. A copy of the calendar agenda is also available online at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. Additional items may be added during the meeting. As a reminder, please mute your phone so we can ensure that everyone could hear. I'd like to ask the Secretary to take a roll call attendance for the members of the Chancellery.
Thanks, Bill. But before I do that, I think two people just joined. Were there members? Was it Trustee Sunshine?
Yes, I'm on.
Great. Thank you. And Trustee Lorraine Cortez Vasquez? Okay, we'll come back to Lorraine. Okay. So members of the Chancellery, please respond present when you hear your name. Chancellor Matos Rodriguez.
Present.
General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis.
Present.
Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost, Jose Luis Cruz.
Present.
Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Hector Batista.
Present.
Senior Vice Chancellor for Institutional Affairs, Strategic Advancement, and Special Counsel, Glenda Grace.
Present.
Senior Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer, Matthew Sapienza.
Present.
Senior Vice Chancellor for Labor Relations, Pamela Silverblatt.
Present.
Vice Chancellor and University Chief Information Officer, Brian Cohn.
Present.
Vice Chancellor for Communications and Marketing, Maite Unco.
Present.
Vice Chancellor for Risk Audit and Compliance, Richard White.
Present.
Vice Chancellor of Human Resources Management, Dorianne Gloria.
Present.
Interim Vice Chancellor for University Advancement, Andrea Shapiro Davis. Okay.
All right, thank you. On behalf of the CUNY Board of Trustees, I'd like to extend our heartfelt condolences to Senior Vice Chancellor Alan Y. Liu's wife, Suling, and his son, Garrett. Alan's time with CUNY was short, but he'll be long remembered for the mark he left on all of us. And Alan had quite a distinguished career both in New York and in Washington, D.C. His willingness to roll his sleeves up and embrace this crisis is an inspiration to everyone at CUNY. Unfortunately, Alan is one of the many talented and dedicated individuals CUNY has lost as a result of this terrible pandemic. For those that we've lost, let's take a moment of silence to remember all of them. Thank you. It's a little hard to believe that we've made it to our final board meeting of the 2019-2020 school year. It has been, extraordinary is probably not the way to phrase it, but this has been a different year at that. I want to thank my fellow trustees for all of your efforts this year, especially over the last few months. While we're not sitting across the table from one another, and I have to admit, I miss seeing all of you. Our important work on behalf of the university has continued, and your tireless commitment to CUNY and its students, faculty, and staff are to be commended. One such area of dedicated service is the search for college presidents. So far, we have helped with the selection of 3 new presidents this school year, and I'm delighted that we will be considering several additional appointments later in this meeting. Let me thank again all of my colleagues on the board. Thank you for your work. As you know, the CUNY Board of Trustees could not convene its June 22nd, 2020 public hearing and the Bronx Borough hearing. Instead, the Office of the Secretary accepted written and video testimony and statements from concerned individuals on items on the calendar for this June 29th, 2020 board meeting via email. Testimonies were accepted until 12:30 p.m. on Monday, June 22nd, and shared with the trustees on June 25th, 2020. A total of 12 testimonies were submitted, including 2 video testimonies. Students, faculty, and staff expressed deep concerns about potential budget cuts and staff layoffs, as well as opposition to any tuition or student fee increases. A letter and petition was submitted by the John J. PSC chapter opposing the adjunct non-reappointment plan and advocating for funding of CUNY by the state. Both video testimonies voiced concerns for the future and the leadership at Medgar Evers College. Let me thank all of those who submitted testimonies. And let me make it clear, the testimonies are available for review in the Office of the Secretary. Let me now ask Chancellor Matos Rodriguez for comments. Chancellor?
Thank you, Chair Thompson, trustees, presidents, and vice chancellors. It's good to be back here with you today to continue the important work of our university. This is my final report to you as I conclude the first full academic year as your chancellor, and I want to take this moment to thank the board for your continued support and recognize the administrative team for always giving their very best. I think, echoing what the chair said, that we can agree that this academic year has brought unprecedented challenges to the CUNY community and forced us to cope with significant changes and unfathomable loss. My administration has worked diligently to keep the university moving forward. As we fight to preserve the best of CUNY and work to drive meaningful change in society, we continue to grieve. I echo the condolences that board chair gave to the family of our colleague, Senior Vice Chancellor Alan Liu. We will do all our best to realize his vision in his honor, but it saddens me greatly that Alan will no longer to be able to see the projects that he was engaged in and the plans that he dreamed of come to fruition. Our thoughts and prayers are with Alan's family, friends, and colleagues to honor his memory and those of other talented and cherished faculty, staff, and students, as well as retirees and alumni whose lives have been taken by the coronavirus. We are about to launch an in memoriam page on CUNY's website so that they are always with us. We will further commemorate their memories with a memorial event when it is safe to do so. We also look forward to a day when we'll also be able to properly send off the resilient class of 2020 in person. Over the past 6 weeks, the university's campuses have created a powerful mosaic of virtual celebrations saluting the peerless grads. To capture the full pageantry of this season, we produced a 20-minute video that features a striking blend of students, school presidents, deans, elected officials, and even a few surprise visitors. We try to go the extra mile for our grads, and the response from the students and their family has been overwhelming. I had the pleasure of taking part in a special CUNY TV program honoring our valedictorians and salutatorians. I was deeply moved by their stories. I walked away from the experience a little more confident in the future, knowing they will be leading the way soon. We are pleased to announce that summer enrollment increased by 17% over the same time last summer, a surge that is driven by students of all ages who are taking advantage of CUNY's diverse and affordable offerings. As you know, all sessions of the summer term are being conducted via distance learning. It is still very early to project the enrollment picture for the fall, but right now we're down about 5% from the figures recorded at this time last year. All things being considered, this isn't all that bad and constitutes a solid baseline from which to build for the fall. The two task forces I established in May to provide a roadmap for the physical reopening of our campuses continue to make progress in formulating a comprehensive set of guidelines to help us prepare for the state's Phase 4 reopening plans. CUNY was allocated $118 million through the Federal CARES Act, earmarked for direct aid to students. I am pleased to report that $107 million has already been distributed to 449 students. CUNY was among the first systems in the nation to get the needed funds in the hands of students, and we continue to reach out to students believed to still be eligible for a grant. These funds are not enough, and we eagerly await further action by the federal government to support New York State and New York City and help all of us to rebound. We are pleased and profoundly relieved that the U.S. Supreme Court chose to preserve DACA protections for hundreds of thousands of undocumented young adults, and we couldn't be prouder of the 5 current and former CUNY students who served as co-plaintiffs, carrying the banner for a generation and asserting the determination to pursue the American dream. Because the current administration excluded undocumented students from eligibility for the CARES Act assistance, we have given them priority for grants from the Chancellor's Emergency Relief Fund, created this spring to help students manage challenges brought on by the pandemic. To date, among the over 4,000 grant awards that the fund has distributed, 1,400 have gone to undocumented students. Bolstered by a generous donation of $500,000 from the Robin Hood Foundation and $200,000 from the New York Community Trust, we are distributing grants to another 2,000 undocumented students in our third and most recent wave of awards. One of my first priorities as Chancellor has been to diversify and to level the playing field for minority, women, and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. And our preliminary data indicates record growth in our engagements with those firms across the university during the past fiscal year. That effort translates into $8.4 million of additional spending on NWBE businesses. Later tonight, the board will be considering for approval a $17.5 million contract with a Hispanic women-owned business headquartered in New York City. It is a notable achievement, but one that we do not view as a benchmark for CUNY. Rather, we see it as a baseline for still greater expansion of the university's supply diversity efforts. We look forward to sharing the final data points on our supply diversity program at our board meeting in October. As the country reckons with the anguish of racism and racial injustice, we are thankful to Governor Cuomo for his executive order and for the board's approval of the resolution to declare Juneteenth a holiday for state employees, commemorating the news of the liberation to enslaved Texans more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. While the COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately impacts people in low-income communities, CUNY is doing its part to bridge the gap for members of underrepresented groups struggling to find their footing. CUNY recently formed an innovative alliance with Cisco, General Assembly, Revature, and Accenture to launch an upskilling online resource portal to help provide CUNY job seekers with the skills they need to catch the eyes of employers, even in a pandemic. We have also partnered with Salesforce through a $500,000 grant to launch our new Career Success on Campus initiative at 3 CUNY colleges, John Jay, the College of Staten Island, and Gutman, to help low-income students gain the skills, experience, and connections they need to improve their economic mobility. The number of CUNY students who will be hired as coaches to support tens of thousands of incoming college freshmen under our College Bridge program for all will nearly double, thanks to a generous $1.5 million in gifts from the Bloomberg Philanthropies and the Carol and Milton Petrie Foundation. This program benefits our current students who are getting coveted summer jobs and work experience, as well as the 2020 graduates of New York City Public Schools who will find it easier to avoid the so-called summer melt and begin college this fall at CUNY and elsewhere. With our increased reliance on distance learning and online instruction, CUNY is committed to improving student outcomes by helping our faculty to master and incorporate instructional best practices. We have now completed the first 2 sessions of our 3-week online Teaching Essentials workshops for about 1,100 faculty members and staff, with a 3rd cohort set to begin on July 9th. The workshops are being held by the CUNY School of Professional Studies. There's additional good news to report and even further recognition of the expertise of our faculty in their respective fields. 3 CUNY faculty have won $2 million in research awards through the National Science Foundation Early Career Development Program, the foundation's most prestigious grants for young leaders in their fields. The awards are part of more than $5 million in recent NSF grants to CUNY faculty researchers. Our faculty and staff are 2 of the bedrocks on which CUNY is able to uphold its historic mission. So it is always hard to say goodbye to dedicated and highly regarded educators. 2 members of the CUNY community who are retiring, and both of whom I call friends, are my presidential successors at their respective schools. I can't thank Oslos Community College President David Gomez enough for his decades of service to CUNY. He succeeded me in the post as president at Oslos in 2014, and I couldn't have been happier for the staff, faculty, and students because of his commitment to the mission of community colleges and his dedication to the success of his students. I wish him happiness and success in his future endeavors. One of the most important decisions that I made when I first assumed the office as chancellor was naming an interim president for Queens College. Because of my affection for and personal involvement with that institution, I felt an added obligation to make a good choice. I'm pleased to say now that my appointment of interim president William Tramontano was a really great choice. I can't thank Bill enough for his hard work and for being a valued friend and advisor. All the best wishes to you, Bill, in your new life as a retiree. Government Community College's founding president, Scott Evenbeck, has been an inspiration to me and many others who share his commitment to student success. I am happy that he will continue to serve CUNY as a university professor. His experience and expertise will continue to inform CUNY students. Scott, I look forward to working with you in your new capacity. My appreciation also to interim President Jim Biskins, who will be stepping down from President of the Graduate Center at the end of July. As many of you know, President Biskins was the president of Queens College for over 12 years, and also a distinguished member of the faculty at Hunter College. I want to thank Jim for his leadership, for his commitment to the graduate students at the Graduate Center, and I wish him continued success in his future plans. I also want to inform that we're kicking off presidential searches at Lehman and Gutman, and we need also to convene the search committee at Medgar Evers College, which will start the process of selecting a new president. Later in this meeting, you will consider presidential appointments for several of our other colleges. Even as we take steps to withstand the storm and the stress of recent months, it is important to keep sight of the most basic tenets of our mission as a driver of social mobility. A new report from the Brookings Institution provides fresh confirmation that we are doing just that. The report ranks 6 of CUNY's 4-year colleges and 6 community colleges among the top 10 4-year and 2-year colleges nationwide, with the greatest success in lifting low-income students into the middle class based on the same data and similar methodology used in the pioneering and widely cited 2017 study led by economist Raj Jetty. 3 other CUNY 4-year colleges were ranked in the top 25, and Baruch was also first among all public 4-year colleges in the nation. Before I finish, allow me to acknowledge the great difficulty and anxiety that all of us have been managing in the recent weeks and months. As the city begins to emerge from the pandemic and move through the stages of reopening, we are engulfed in righteous protests over racial intolerance and police brutality. I am confident that these events will lead to positive change, and I believe that institutions of higher learning can be the catalyst informing public opinion and driving reforms that foster social justice, diversity, and needed changes in policy and the law. I am committed to this work and proud to serve the country's most diverse and dynamic university. And that, Mr. Chair, concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor, and let me thank you for your leadership during these few months. Now turn to the item requiring a vote today, given that all members are participating remotely. And by the way, we heard a couple of other beeps. Are there other people on the line who weren't roll call earlier?
Hi, it's Andrea Davis.
Great.
Excellent.
And Lorraine?
Yes, I'm
Great.
here.
We wanted to make sure we got you. Great.
Yep. All right. Given that board members are participating remotely, I'll read the resolutions and ask the members to respond only if you'd like to abstain or oppose an item. Your vote will be required to say yes. If you're voting no or abstaining, please state your name and vote. Additionally, if you abstain an item or have any questions, please state your name first for the record, and let's try and avoid speaking over one another. And again, let me start out also by apologizing for you having to be stuck with my voice for most of this meeting. So my apologies there. For clarity and coordination, I'll read all the items rather than turning to committee chairs. So away we go. Item number 1, approval of minutes of the regular board meeting of May 18th, 2020 be approved. Do I have a second for that?
Berger, second.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 2, the Committee on Audit. Item number 2A, the City University of New York, approval of the fiscal year 2020 external audit plan. Each year, the university's external auditors meet with management and those charged with governance to review and discuss the proposed audit plan, including the scope, approach, and timing. The resulting external audit plan is presented to the Audit Committee for approval prior to commencing the external audit. Do I have a second for this item?
Berger, second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 3, the Committee on Fiscal Affairs. Item 3A is a resolution requesting the authorization of a contract with Schindler Elevator Corporation for elevator and escalator maintenance services at Borough of Manhattan Community College. The college requires full elevator and escalator maintenance services for 14 elevators and six escalators at Fitterman Hall. These services include all inspections, adjustments, tests, parts replacement, and repairs necessary to keep the elevators and escalators in a continuous use at their initial performance ability. The contract will be for a maximum of 5 years, for a 5-year period, and shall not exceed $2.879 million. Do I have a second for this item?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on this item?
Mr. Chairman, with respect to this procurement, I will at this meeting, as I did in the earlier committee meeting, abstain because I fundamentally believe that accepting a bid with only one successful bidder is not the way we should be going in the future.
Thank you, Trustee. Other comments? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose, and Trustee Ferrer is abstaining. Anyone else? Okay, that item is approved. Item 3B is a resolution requesting the authorization of a contract with Gilbert International, Inc. for building maintenance services at LaGuardia Community College. The college is required to ensure that campus buildings are maintained and up to operational standards. The contractor will provide general and building service systems maintenance, both preventative and corrective, and operating engineering services and emergency response services. The contract shall be for a maximum of 5 years and shall not exceed $17,500,000. May I have a second for this item?
Second. Ferrer,
Any
second.
discussion? Thank you. Discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Item 3B is approved. Item 3C is a resolution requesting the authorization of a contract with Culinart Group Incorporated to provide food services operations to the university's campuses. At present, CUNY's food service operations are handled at the college level through multiple contracts. In an effort to obtain better services for the campuses and our students, the university decided to seek a university-wide contract that takes advantage of efficiencies of scale, encourages consistency of food service quality throughout the university, and improves vendor oversight, as well as supports a safe and fair workplace for food service workers, provides assistance food insecure proposed contract. Coolant service every CUNY campus, with the exception of the College of Island, as long as it self-operates its food, including those that do not have food service. Each college will Culinart to determine the type of to be at its campus, which can include traditional cafeteria-style dining, rooms, snack bars, pop-up kitchens, and go stations, among others. The contract and renewals shall be no longer than 15 years. Will be at it will 18.
Bill, we're losing you a little bit. You're in and out.
Okay, I'm going to move in a minute, but all included in that by Q is the improvement, technology, food insecurity programs, as well as a profit split pursuant to which Culinart will split with Q above 3% by fully operational food service locations at the university, with 80% going to CUNY and 20%. Can I have a second for this item?
Ferrer, seconds.
Discussion on one thing before vote. I would just
This is Charlie Shorter. I have
Thanks.
two questions, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Number one, with regard to the monitoring, this is a huge step forward and an amazing contract. There is a clause in here that they will provide us, Fuel and Art will provide us with monthly and annual operating sales reports, but who will be responsible for the monitoring of it? Will it be up to the individual colleges, or will we have someone at CUNY who will oversee the quality, the service, all aspects of this? It's a pretty big operation, obviously. Question number one, and number two is what sort of MBE, WBE utilization are they going to specifically give us?
Might answer
Matt or Hector?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Chancellor. Yeah, Trustee Shorter, there is an MWD component in here of 30% that any subcontracting that the vendor will have to do, whether it's purchasing food or purchasing, other type of services, catering, that there is an MWD component. That was part of the original request for proposals and is included in the agreement going forward. In terms of monitoring, again, I think it'll be a combination of each campus will need to monitor on their own because each campus, as the chairman indicated, will have different needs. And we're going to make sure that the campus has that direct relationship with CUNY. But one of the benefits of this contract that it is a university-wide contract, and so my office will also be liaisoning between the campuses and the vendor, and making sure that all of the reporting that's done on the revenue and expenditure side, looks well and looks strong, and so each campus will be responsible for maintaining that relationship directly with the vendor. But my office will coordinate in terms of any data reporting on expenditures and revenue.
Thank you.
Other questions on this topic? Okay, let me thank the Chancellor and his team for getting this done. I'll tell you, this is something that goes back a couple of years. A number of my colleagues, I remember sitting, I think, with Trustee Berger, Ken Sunshine, and a number of other members of the board as we heard horror story after horror story at some of our campuses on those who were being poorly treated, employees who were being taken advantage of, workers who were treated and being paid less than minimum wage. And it was something that should never happen on our campuses. Heck, it shouldn't happen, period, but definitely not on a CUNY campus. And it was something that the trustees felt strongly about. And I just want to thank the Chancellor for getting this done and his team. We're really pleased with this. And so I just wanted to thank you all for a job well done. Any other comments or discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. This item is approved. Item 3D is a resolution requesting the authorization of a contract with Jagger LLC to provide an e-procurement solution to the university. The university is committed to reducing operational processing expenses by systematically decreasing the time from requisition to payment, improving the end-user experience for ordering and receiving goods, ensuring contract compliance, and collecting detailed spend data across the university, and is seeking to purchase an e-procurement solution to achieve these objectives. The contract shall be for a period of 5 years with an additional 1 5-year renewal option to be exercised at the sole discretion of the university for a total of $11,900,000. May I have a second for this item?
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item number 4, Committee on Academic Policy Programs and Research. Item 4A, Hostos Community College, establish a program in computer science leading to the degree of Associate in Science. Proposed program will serve the university's mission to prepare its diverse population of students for the future of work in the computer sciences, allowing them to develop the necessary skills for academic and professional advancement in the area, while ensuring equity and access to this vital and growing professional field. May I have a second for this item?
O'Donnell Tormey, second.
Discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Item 4A is approved. Item 4B, Queens College establish a program in taxation leading to the Master of Science degree. The proposed program will serve the university's mission to prepare students for the future of work in the 21st century by allowing them to develop the critical skills in taxation and taxation management that align with the changing tax codes, as well as advanced skills that are highly valued by a growing industry and competitive labor market. May I have a second for this item?
Oberfeld, second.
Discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item 4C, Graduate School and University Center establish a program in health information management leading to the Master of Science degree at the City University of New York School of Professional Studies. The proposed program will serve the university's mission to prepare students for the future of work in health care information management by allowing them to develop the necessary and marketable technical and leadership skills that are highly valued in an ever-evolving industry and consistently competitive labor market. May I have a second for this item?
Second, O'Donnell Tormey.
Second.
Discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Okay, that item is approved. Item 4D, University amend to place the policy guidelines for centers, institutes, consortia, and special initiatives. Proposed revised policy 1.09 will improve the policy procedures that govern centers, institutes, consortia, and special initiatives, and will let these entities continue to and support the core mission of the university. May I have a second for this?
Second, O'Donnell Tormey.
Mr. Chairman, may I comment?
Absolutely.
This is Trustee Berger. I think there's been a lot of good work here, but I'm concerned in particular with one provision of this. The current bylaws require that the establishment of an institute be reviewed and approved by the trustees before it is commenced. These bylaws amend that to take that power away from the trustees, and I think the trustee involvement in that is very important. I would also note that last year when we considered what was presented to us as a center, the trustees considered that, although that was not required at the time by the bylaws. And in the discussion of that, it became clear that what was being presented as a center was actually being more conceived as an institute. And I think that the trustees' involvement in that was very helpful and actually led to a better result. I'm going to oppose this because I don't think the trustees should relinquish their power to review at least the establishment of institutes before they commence.
Chancellor, response?
This is Ferrer. I'll join Trustee Berger in his opposition.
This is Trustee Shorter. I agree with Trustee Berger.
And this is Trustee Cortez Vasquez. I agree. I oppose.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a motion to table this?
Excuse me, may I comment? I was on mute, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Trustee Schwartz. If we all look at the fifth paragraph of what's been proposed, which is left over from what was 109 in 1995, which is the last time it was reviewed. The sentence says, as part of the university, all centers, institutes, and consortia are subject to the ultimate authority of the Board of Trustees. That was there in 1995, and that's there today in 2020. What's different today is that the people who are aware of what centers should do will be responsible for evaluating those centers, for monitoring those centers, and for reporting to us through the committee every year, every single year. And those various centers, consortia, or institutes that don't do what they're supposed to do or are just hanging around will be abolished. And that effort will be done by the Chancellery, as it should be. In the past, what has happened under 109 is that centers have been presented to the committee as an information item only, and there it stopped. The board never considered anything about centers and heard nothing more about it. The board will now hear something more about it in the annual report from the Chancellor. As for institutes and consortia, they were contained in the old Chancellor's report. And as far as I know, not an institute or a consortia was ever reviewed or discussed by the board, because it was contained in the old Chancellor's report, which we reviewed and approved without ever having read it. That's all changed now. So now the people who are mindful of what centers are to do, what institutes can do, and what consortia may do, are wholly responsible for them. Our role is limited to that one line that says they are subject to the ultimate authority of the Board of Trustees, the authority we had in 1995 and the authority we keep today. I am quite supportive of this. I think the Chancellor, as well as the Provost, have done terrific work on behalf of the university to clean up this otherwise messy situation, and it's now in the hands of where it should be and ultimately subject to our authority. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Trustee Berger.
And I'll end it here. The current bylaws and the approval process require the approval of institutes before they commence. We are being presented with a proposal that limits our approval to post hoc review after they've already been operating, and I'm concerned that once something is established, it's much, much harder to make it better or make it work better. And I think we should retain our authority to approve institutes which cut across campuses before they commence. That's why I'll be voting no, and I have nothing further. Thank you.
There
Mr.
was
Chairman,
a
I'll
motion.
just say one more time for my colleague and my good friend Henry Berger. We're not giving up the authority. The approval that we had in the past, we exercised by approving a report which we never reviewed. That's been the practice. That practice under this proposed resolution will change, just the way it should change. We keep our authority, and the people who are responsible and accountable for the creation of centers, institutes, and consortia will be held to be responsible and will be held accountable by providing us with an evaluation every single year. I support this resolution. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to ask, there was a motion, I believe, that was made to table this item and have an opportunity to get some answers. It's have a review and some answers on. Henry's raised something. He has also mentioned and spoken a number of things just to be able to do this and get back to the board. And I have the feeling we'll be doing a board meeting over the summer, so it won't linger for an extended period of time. I don't want to undercut the work done at the committee either. I would entertain a motion to lay this over, table this for the meeting, if that is in fact what the board chooses to do. I'm not sure, was it Trustee Ferrer or who else had made a motion to table?
I'll make the motion.
Well, I'm just checking. All right. I would, rather than, I'm going to support a motion to table this at least, till our next meeting, so we can do a brief review of this and be able to get back to everybody. I will support that motion to table this item. I will obviously. Those in, as I said, I'm going to ask, because this isn't going to be a unanimous vote on the tabling. Those, since there is that motion, I guess, motion to table, either those who abstain or no votes, I'd like to ask for that.
Berger votes no. Berger votes yes to table. Yes.
This is okay. So I'm just on this one. I'm just looking for no votes or abstentions on a motion and a second. It's already been made and seconded to table this item. No
motion
votes
to table.
or
Okay.
abstentions. Yes, on the motion to table the item. All right. Hearing no objections, to table this item for our next meeting and have the opportunity to be able to have information put together and get back to the board in memo form prior to our meeting, so that everyone will have the benefit of going through this prior to our next meeting. All right, we're going to move to item 4E. Approving the policy. Item 4E, the University of New York approved the policy for the use of credit for prior learning. A core feature of the university's mission is to provide opportunities to citizens of the city. By implementing this comprehensive and sweeping credit for prior policy, the university acknowledges that college-level learning also occurs outside of traditional classrooms and recognizes that non-traditional lead people, many underrepresented communities, to CUNY are worthy of assessment for credit towards degree completion. May I have a second for this item?
Berger, second.
Any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please respond if you like. Yes.
Hi, Chairman. This is Kevin Kim. Can I just ask Trustee Burke, the faculty's view on this?
Trustee Kim and my colleagues, there's faculty participation on this for the last 2 years. The Office of Academic Affairs has worked with the Council of Faculty Governance Leaders, the Discipline Councils, the University Senate, 3 different committees, all recommended and requested changes, and accommodations were made, and the faculty is very happy with this particular proposal.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? Yes.
Yeah, I needed to ask for the prior learning. How will we document what that prior learning is and how you give credit for that prior learning? I know in the old days, that's how old I am. Brooklyn College had a weekend college, and most of it was based on prior learning. But there's a way you had to be able to document what that prior learning was and to what field that learning was associated with, and then there were people who evaluated what you documented as prior learning. Is there going to be anything like that if we go to this? And you probably know in Chicago there's a big conversation going on, and folks who needed to get a degree and nobody documented what those prior learning was, and so they ended up in a lot of trouble with it. Are we going to come up with a way in which we will document what that prior learning is, what credit you get for it, based on whatever somebody's major may be?
Provost Cruz?
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the question, Trustee Clark. Per the policy that is being presented, there are various ways in which the assessment of prior learning will occur and will be documented. They are, in Section 5 of the policy, include standardized examinations. They include also the non-collegiate credit evaluators. For example, the American Council on Education has methods and services they provide to do prior learning evaluation. We're also in this policy including that the opportunity for institutions themselves, for our colleges to develop their own, for the faculty to develop their own assessments for prior learning. And more broadly, we are encouraging through this policy that the colleges and schools award credits for prior learning through portfolio development, where students would reflect on what they have learned through outside the classroom opportunities and present that in portfolio form to faculty, who would then be able to assess the learning outcomes and the appropriate credit that should be given for it.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. This item is approved. Item 4F, this is Academic Affairs, approval of the actions in the CAPRA dashboard. Can I have a second for this item?
Charlie Shorter, second.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item number 5, the Committee on Staff and Administration. We're going to table, after discussion with the chair, we're going to table item 5A. So I'm going to have to make a motion to table 5A. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, just oppose if you're opposed. Say something. Okay.
Aye.
That item has been tabled. Item 5A is tabled indefinitely. Item 5B, the City University of New York amends certain investment options in the University of New York optional retirement program and tax annuity plan. The investment option changes recommended by the University Investment Advisor, CAMAC, from the current investment options. In accordance with the New York Education Law, Section 6251, all investments made available under the ORP will be provided through annuity contracts. May I have a second for this item?
Oberfeld, seconds.
Any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 5C, Stella and Charles Guttman Community College, amendment to the governance plan. The proposed amendments would ensure greater student representation by including members of the Student Government Association on the college's council. Will remove references to faculty, personnel, committee chairs serving staggered 3-year terms in order to reflect current practice. Clarify the requirements that members of faculty personnel committees must be tenured or tenure-track faculty, and eliminate the requirement that the college personnel committee review the reappointment of part-time faculty being appointed or reappointed for only 1 semester. May I have a second for this item? Okay. Any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item 5D, John Jay College of Criminal Justice, amendment to the governance plan. John Jay College of Criminal Justice's former president initiated a study of committees and committee responsibilities at the college with the goal of streamlining committees when possible without compromising their effectiveness. Following this study, a recommendation was made that committees on the college council be streamlined, which could be done by reducing the number of members of the college council while maintaining the same degree of representation for the 4 main constituencies on the council: faculty, students, higher education officers, and administrators. On December 9th, 2019, the college council voted to reduce the size of the council from 69 to 50, but to maintain essentially the same proportion of each group as in the current council. The college president supports the proposed amendments. May I have a second for this item?
Second, Linares.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item 5E, Brooklyn College appointment of Corey Robin as Distinguished Professor. Professor Robin shall be appointed Distinguished Professor effective July 1st, 2020, with compensation of $28,594 per annum in addition to his regular academic salary, subject to financial ability. May I have a second for this item?
Oberfeld seconds.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item 5F, Brooklyn College award Dr. Peter Talias with immediate tenure with an application of bylaws 6.2b. Dr. Talias shall be appointed Dean of the School of Natural and Behavioral Sciences at Brooklyn College and appointed Professor in the Department of Biology with immediate tenure effective August 17th, 2020, subject to financial ability. May I have a second for this item?
Second.
Any discussion on the item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Items 5G through 5L are awards of early tenure with an application of Board of Trustees bylaws 6.2C2 effective September 1st, 2020, subject to financial ability. City College of New York, Dr. Victoria Fry. Queens College, Dr. Jose Sanchez. John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Dr. Jamie Longazel. John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Dr. Joshua Mason. John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Dr. Lisa Steele. John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Dr. Yulia Zabalina. May I have a second for these items?
Berger, second.
Any discussion on these items? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you like to abstain or oppose. Those items are approved. Item number 6, Committee on Facilities Planning and Management. Item 6A, New York City College of Technology authorize a lease amendment with St. James Apartments Incorporated as landlord to extend the term of the lease at 250 J Street, Brooklyn, New York. This lease will be a one-year renewal with a total lease cost of $1.5 million, which includes a $47 per square foot base rent for the demised premises, real estate taxes, cleaning, and a contingency for COVID-related additional cleaning and equipment. Can I have a second for this item?
Oberfeld seconds.
Any discussion on this item?
Quick.
We'll now vote, please. Yes.
Chair. CUNY pays
Yes.
real estate taxes on properties and leases?
Do you have a response to that?
Yes, this is Matt.
Yeah, I have a response. It's Trustee Oberfeld. The rule is you don't pay real estate taxes on property that not-for-profits own. And that's why we do those leasehold condos, Charlie, so to keep us exempt from the real estate taxes. But as of right, if we're a tenant, to my knowledge, we're not exempt.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. This is Hector Batista. That is correct.
Okay. Other questions? I'm not sure. Has this been seconded? Okay, it has been seconded. Any other discussion? All right, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 7, Committee on Student Affairs and Special Programs. Item 7A, the City University of New York approved the award of the Jonas Salk Scholarships. The award of Jonas E. Salk Scholarships to the following graduates have been recommended by the Chancellor of the City University of New York effective June 29, 2020. Mariana Babadejanov, Brooklyn College. Alaskadansky, Brooklyn College, Macaulay Honors College. Tiffany Merlinsky, Hunter College, Macaulay Honors College. Swathi Metalia, City College, Macaulay Honor College. Jasmine Morales from City College. Yasmin Oprea from Hunter College. Nathaniel Sapir from Queens College. Brendan Sosa from Hunter College. Jenny Ganay Vasquez from Hunter College. Can I have a second for these?
Second, O'Donnell.
Second.
Okay. I guess on this one, those, I guess, any comments? We're gonna, I guess we'll take a vote. Any, just if you're abstentions or voting no? Fine. These items are approved, and my apologies to anybody whose name I beat up. Item number 8, Executive Committee. Item number 8A is a notice of action taken by the Executive Committee on June 18th, 2020, declaring June 19th, 2020, or Juneteenth a holiday for all employees of the City University of New York. This item is for informational purposes and requires no additional vote. Item number 9, the City University of New York extend the period of the Chancellor's Emergency Relief Fund from June 30th, 2020 to October 31st, 2020. Given the unprecedented public health and economic crisis posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the severe impact it has had on our community, the university recommends the continuation of the Chancellor's Emergency Relief Fund as a means to mitigate the financial impact on our students in the 2020-2021 academic year. I'm going to ask everybody to mute their phone, please. The fund has raised more than $5 million and has already distributed over $2 million to more than 4,000 students in need, and will distribute an additional $1 million to 2,000 additional students by mid-July. And let me commend the Chancellor for this. Thank you so much. May I have a second for this item?
Short seconds.
Timothy Hunter, second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now
yes.
vote. Please.
I'd like to say something.
Timothy? Yes.
Hello. All right, this is Tim speaking. I just want to say, again, a lot of our students were left out of the CARES Act and didn't have access, to the federal money. So I definitely want to say that, special thank you to all the fundraising efforts that were taken to make sure that undocumented students, international students, and others can still receive some sort of financial support. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And also thank so many of my colleagues for contributing to this fund also. Any other discussion on this item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item number 10, a resolution of appreciation for Dr. David Gomez, president of Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College. The Board of Trustees offer their sincere thanks and deepest appreciation for Dr. Gomez's sterling achievements as a leader, as an educator, and as a man whose constant dedication reflects his care, love, and concern for the many communities he touched at the City University of New York, Hostos Community College, and Kingsborough Community College, and wish him well in his future endeavors. Do I have a second for this item?
Mr. Chairman, Ferrer proudly seconds.
And
You
let me just...
second him, I love him.
and just in discussion on this item, let me just say how much I will miss Dr. Gomez. He's just a wonderful human being, and it has been a pleasure and an honor to work with him.
But he's going to stay.
Yeah, but honestly, as I said, he's a great guy, and going to miss him as the president of the institution.
I agree with you more.
Any other comments on this discussion?
I call him a gem. That on the record, I call him a gem.
I would agree with you, trustee. All right, let's now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved, and if we were all in person, we would be standing and applauding. Item number 11, the City of New York appointment of Dr. Scott E. Evanbeck as University Professor at Baruch College. The Board of Trustees express their sincere thanks and deepest appreciation to Dr. Scott E. Evanbeck for his exemplary leadership, tireless dedication, and outstanding service to Stella and Charles Gutman Community College and the City University of New York as its inaugural president since January of 2011. The Chancellor has recommended in accordance with the Board of Trustees Manual of General Policy 5.23 and in recognition of Dr. Scott E. Evenbach's distinguished service legacy to the University of New York, the Board of Trustees appoints Dr. Scott Evenbach as University Professor at Baruch College effective January 2nd, 2021 for up to 5 years at an annual salary of $162,270 subject to financial ability. May I have a second for this item?
Second.
And I will also say I could think of no better person to have started as the president of Gutman and really has left huge shoes to fill. Is there any other discussion on this item?
That's another gem.
We are loading up we've got a lot of gems out there today. We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 12, the City University of New York appointment of Dr. Mitchell B. Wallerstein as University Professor at Baruch College and President Emeritus of Baruch College. The members of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York express their sincere thanks and deepest appreciation to Dr. Mitchell B. Wallerstein for his exemplary leadership of Baruch College of the City University of New York from August of 2010 to June of 2020. The Chancellor recommends in accordance with the Board of Trustees Manual of General Policy 5.23 and in recognition of Dr. Mitchell B. Wallerstein's distinguished legacy and service to the City University of New York, the Board of Trustees appoints Dr. Wallerstein as University Professor at Baruch College, effective September 1st, 2020 for up to 5 years at an annual salary of $162,270 to financial ability. The Chancellor also recommends, in accordance with the Board of Trustees Manual of General Policy and recognition of Dr. Wallerstein's distinguished service and tenure at Baruch College, the Board of Trustees confer upon Dr. Wallerstein the title of President Emeritus, effective upon his retirement from the university after completion of his university professorship. And in accordance with Section 5.041, such title is unsalaried and shall entitle the former president to the use of university libraries and research facilities and such other services as appropriate. May I have a second for this item?
Seconded, Charlie Curtis.
Discussion on this item. And I would just like to say how much I've appreciated Mitch Wallerstein's leadership at Baruch College, which has kept it as one of the finest institutions in the CUNY system. So thank you for your service. Any other discussion on this item? We're now going to vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. Item number 13, a resolution of appreciation, Interim President James B. Muskins of the Graduate Center. The members of the Board of Trustees offer their sincere thanks and deepest appreciation of Dr. Muskins' achievement as a leader and educator at the Graduate Center, Queens College and Hunter College, and wish him well in his future endeavors. May I have a second for this item?
Second, Linares Garcia.
Discussion on this item? And I'd like to thank him for guiding the Graduate Center forward. Thank you so much. We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Item number 14, a resolution of appreciation for Interim President William Tramontano of Queens College. The members of the Board of Trustees offer their sincere thanks and deepest appreciation for Dr. Tramontano's service to Queens College, Hunter College, Lehman College, and Brooklyn College, and wish him well in his future endeavors. He had large shoes to fill at Queens College and did it admirably. May I have a second for this?
Jim, second.
Second.
Discussion on the item? We'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item has been approved. The Chancellor has requested several items to be added to the calendar today. There are 4 items which we'll add one at a time and then call for a vote on each one. Let me now call on the Secretary to present item number 15.
This is item number 15 is a resolution to appoint Berencia Johnson-Eanes as president at York College, whereas Berencia Johnson-Eanes, PhD, has been serving as the interim president of York College since September 1st, 2019. And whereas in her time as interim president of York College, the campus was awarded $3 million by the JFK Redevelopment Partners Awards to transform York's 20-year-old minority university research and education program, which introduces STEM education to students in grades 1 through 12. And whereas Dr. Eanes served as vice president for the Division of Student Affairs at California State University, Fullerton, CSUF, leading a division of 400-plus employees who support the personal, social, and academic development of nearly 40,000 students since 2012. And whereas Dr. Eanes co-led efforts to create the Student Success Team Steering Committee, the genesis of CSUF's college-based student success teams that have become a national model for best practices to increase graduation rates and eliminate achievement gaps, CSUF facilitated a 33% improvement in 6-year graduation rates for first-time freshmen, a more than 100% improvement in 4-year graduation rates for first-time freshmen, a 19% improvement in 2-year graduation rates for transfer students, and a 41% improvement in 4-year graduation rates for transfer students, all CSUF records. And whereas under her leadership, annual gift commitments for both student affairs and Titan athletics increased almost tenfold from $400,000 to $3.5 million for student affairs and $496,000 to $3.76 million for Titan athletics. And whereas Dr. Eanes has been honored with notable national and statewide awards, including the Wang Family Excellence Award, garnering the honor for distinguishing herself through exemplary contributions and achievements to Cal State Fullerton. And whereas prior to her time at Cal State Fullerton, Dr. Eanes served in positions of increasing responsibility at both public and private institutions of higher learning, including John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Barnard College, Columbia College, Morehouse College, and Hamilton College. And whereas Dr. Eanes received a PhD in social work from Clark Atlanta University, a Master of Social Work from Boston University, and Bachelor of Science in Public Health from Dillard University in New Orleans, and whereas the Board of Trustees Manual of General Policy 2.12, Guidelines for Presidential Searches, provides for the suspension of the search guidelines for a specific search and substitution of a shortened process after the board chairperson and the chancellor consult with the chair of the board Committee on Faculty, Staff, and Administration and Leadership of College Constituencies, and whereas the board chairperson and the chancellor have consulted with the chair of the board Committee on Faculty, Staff, and Administration, and whereas on May 28th, 2020 and June 2nd, 2020, there was formal consultation with various college constituencies, including elected faculty leadership, elected student leadership, alumni, foundation board members, and friends of the college about the needs of the college and expectations for the new York president. And whereas based upon this consultation and Dr. Eanes' performance throughout her career and during this year, the chancellor has determined that Dr. Eanes has a proven record of distinction, which greatly enriches the college and the university, and it is in the best interest of the college and university that Dr. Eanes be appointed president. And whereas the chancellor recommends the appointment of Dr. Eanes as York's president, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the appointment of Berencia Johnson-Eanes as president, York College, effective August 1st, 2020, with an annual salary of $320,000. The explanation: as president, Berencia Johnson-Eanes will ensure the leadership, continuity, and consistency she has been providing since she stepped into the role of interim president. The chancellor strongly recommends this appointment.
All right. I make a motion to add item 15 to our agenda. May I have a second on that?
Tim Hunter seconds.
Okay, excellent. That item is added. Let me now present item 15. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
Discussion this item. Chancellor, would you like to say anything?
Thank you. I mean, I guess that the resolution is pretty complete. President Johnson has done an incredible job at York, and as we began the process to consult with internal and external stakeholders about who the qualities for the next president of York. There was a lot of support for her, and given her track record, her work in this past year and before, and the fact that we have 3 other additional searches to undertake next year, I upon consultation, thought that it'd be appropriate to suggest that she be appointed the permanent president.
Chancellor, let me applaud you for your bold action in this, and also to add to this. I mean, while faculty and those on campus are strongly supportive, making her the president and the permanent president, Congressman Meeks and most of the elected, if not all of the elected officials out in Southeast Queens, also reached out to be supportive of making her the permanent president. So let me thank you for really a job well done in putting this forward. Let's see. I guess any other discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Item is approved. Dr. Ains, congratulations as the new president of York College. Gail, please present the next item.
Item number 16 is a resolution to appoint Anthony E. Monroe as president at the Borough of Manhattan Community College, whereas Anthony E. Monroe, EDD, is currently serving as the 8th president of Essex County College, a public community college in Essex County, New Jersey, and whereas as Essex County College president, Dr. Monroe is responsible for faculty on 3 campuses in Essex County, and AAAS and AAS degree programs in more than 50 different majors and 26 academic certificate programs. And whereas during Dr. Monroe's tenure as president, he led the development of the college's 5-year strategic plan, launched and chaired the Rapid Response Retention Task Force focused on improving enrollment and retention, and launched the Guided Pathways Initiative to improve student experience. And whereas Dr. Monroe served as president of Malcolm X College, a part of the City College of Chicago system, with over 12,000 students, where during his tenure, Dr. Monroe led the successful implementation of the College to Careers Initiative, a program designed to close the job skills gap and recognized by the World Bank as a global best practice, where he led and facilitated the planning and construction of a new campus and led enrollment management and program development initiatives that allowed Malcolm X College to exceed enrollment projections. And whereas Dr. Monroe served as executive administrator of the Ross University School of Medicine's Bahamas campus, and as Associate Vice President of Health Systems Affairs and Associate Dean of Clinical Network Operations at Ross University School of Medicine in New Jersey, also serving as the President of Advocate Trinity Hospital in Chicago, a full-service community-focused hospital with a staff of 1,000 full-time employees. And whereas Dr. Monroe is an accomplished leader and has received national recognition for his academic accomplishments, in addition to his noted contribution in the field of healthcare, and whereas Dr. Monroe completed his doctoral studies, earning an EDD in health education at Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City, his Master of Business Administration from Northwestern University's Kellogg Graduate School of Management, and his Master of Public Health from Columbia University. And whereas a search committee chaired by Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Barry Schwartz, conducted a nationwide search beginning in January 2020 and recommended Dr. Monroe as one of the finalists for the presidency of Borough of Manhattan Community College. And whereas after consultation with various Borough of Manhattan Community College stakeholders, the Chancellor is recommending Dr. Monroe as Borough of Manhattan Community College president. And whereas Section 6.2b of the bylaws of the Board of Trustees states that a distinguished person of proven record appointed to the title of associate professor or the title of professor who had tenure in another accredited institution of higher learning may be appointed with immediate tenure by the board in its discretion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the appointment of Anthony E. Monroe as president, Borough of Manhattan Community College, effective October 1st, 2020, at an annual salary of $275,000. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the appointment of Anthony E. Monroe as a full professor with tenure in the Department of Health Education at the Borough of Manhattan Community College, effective October 1, 2020, and placed on leave while he serves as president. An explanation reads as follows: Dr. Anthony E. Monroe, nationally recognized for his expertise in healthcare leadership, strategy, cultural competency, diversity in healthcare, health systems leadership, and as a healthcare futurist. The Chancellor strongly recommends this appointment.
Okay, let me make a motion to add item 16 to our agenda. Yeah. All right, that item is added. I now present item 16. May I have a second for that?
Pereira, second.
I second.
Second.
Discussion on the item. Chancellor, would you like to say anything?
I want to thank the trustees and all the members of the search committee who participated in that, Dean Billick from the law school representing the presidents, and Trustee Schwartz and Ferrer and Cortez Vasquez. Very, very strong, pool of candidates for BMCC, which is the largest school in the system and one of great importance and distinction. And we have an individual with a great track record in community college leadership, in leadership also in health. And health management. So I think that combined expertise will serve us well in the system.
Thank you, Chancellor. Any other discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Congratulations, Dr. Monroe. Welcome. Welcome. Gail, please present the next item.
Item number 17 is a resolution to appoint Christine Mangino as president at Queensborough Community College. Whereas Christine Mangino, EDD, is currently serving as the provost and vice president of academic affairs at Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College of the City University of New York. And whereas Hostos Community College Provost, Hostos Community College Provost, Dr. Mangino is responsible for 10 academic departments, full-time and part-time faculty and staff for the division's strategic planning process, overseeing integrity and excellence of academic programs, fiscal and budgetary management of $45 million for the Office of Academic Affairs, and is the accreditation liaison officer for the college, leading the college through projects including Middle States Review, developing 5-year plans, and operational planning. And whereas during Dr. Mangino's tenure as provost, Hostos Community College saw a 95% faculty retention rate, an increase in online classes offerings by 5%, an increase in 3-year graduation rates from 11.9% to 26.7%, and development of an associate's degree with continuing education certifications as part of the degree. And whereas as the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Hostos Community College, Dr. Mangino secured a $2.5 million Title V grant, revised all 27 degrees to meet the requirements of the university's general education pathway reforms, accomplished the creation of the Hostos Teaching Institute, and as the chairperson of the education department, increased enrollment in the program by 23%, created a youth studies certification, developed articulations with senior colleges, writing the academic program review for the early childhood program. And whereas Dr. Mangino is an accomplished scholar in learning styles and differentiated instruction, an experienced administrator, and a successful leader, and whereas Dr. Mangino has a BA in elementary education in English from Hofstra University, and an MA in elementary education from Hofstra University, and EDD in instructional leadership from St. John's University. And whereas a search committee chaired by Trustee Sandra Wilkins conducted a nationwide search beginning in January 2020 and recommended Dr. Mangino as one of the finalists for the presidency of Queensborough Community College. And whereas after consultation with various Queensborough Community College stakeholders, the Chancellor is recommending Dr. Mangino as Queensborough Community College's president, and whereas Section 6.2b of the bylaws of the Board of Trustees states that a distinguished person of proven record appointed to the title of associate professor or the title of professor who had tenure in another accredited institution of higher learning may be appointed with immediate tenure by the board in its discretion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approved the appointment of Christine Mangino as president, Queensborough Community College, effective August 17, 2020, at an annual salary of $270,000. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the appointment of Christine Mangino as a full professor with tenure in the Queensborough Community College Social Science Department, effective August 17, 2020, and placed on leave while she serves as president of Queensborough Community College. Explanation is as follows. Dr. Mangino's accomplishments, experience, and education make her particularly suited for this leadership role at Queensborough Community College. The Chancellor strongly recommends this appointment.
Okay, thank you. Let me make a motion to add item 17 to our agenda. Do I have a second?
Wilkins, second.
Okay, the item has been added. I'll now present item 17. Can I have a second for that? You got crickets here. I can't second my own motion. Can I have a second?
Second, Wilkins.
Thank you. Chancellor.
Thank you. First, I mean, another very, very strong pool of candidates that we had in that search. My thanks to Trustee Wilkins for chairing that committee, and Trustees Clark and Kim for participating, and the rest of the other members of the committee. I knew Dr. Mangino at my time at Ostos when she was department chair and associate provost. Have seen her risen to the challenge as provost at Ostos and work hand in hand with President Gomez. And a proven leader, someone whose own story began at a community college herself. So she knows the needs and understands the needs of our community college students, knows the area and the community, and knows CUNY well. So delighted to recommend Dr. Mangino for the position.
Thank you, Chancellor. Any other discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Congratulations, Dr. Mangino. Gail, our last item.
Excellent. Item number 18, resolution to appoint Kenneth Adams as president at LaGuardia Community College. Whereas Kenneth Adams is currently serving as the Dean of Workforce and Economic Development at Bronx Community College, BCC, at the City University of New York, overseeing the departments of Adult and Continuing Education, Workforce Development, Career Services, Community and Economic Development, and the BCC Center for Sustainable Energy. And whereas at Bronx Community College, Mr. Adams developed credit-bearing credential programs and career maps for 6 BCC degree programs. Mr. Adams also raised $1.9 million in support of workforce training and career service initiatives. Mr. Adams' efforts increased the continuing education program enrollment by 45% and revenue by 15%. And whereas as Commissioner of the New York State Department of Economic Development's Empire State Development Corporation, ESDC, Mr. Adams led New York State's Economic Development Agency with more than 450 employees and an annual operating budget of $80 million. And whereas Mr. Adams provided oversight of all major economic development programs and services during Governor Cuomo's first term in office, significantly increasing productivity and results in all lines of business and setting agency records for project transactions, job retention, job creation, and private industry investment. And whereas as the president of the Business Council of New York State, Mr. Adams led New York State's premier business association in its advocacy to improve the state's business climate. Mr. Adams lobbied and advocated on issues essential to New York's economic recovery before the governor's office, the New York State Senate, the New York State Assembly, executive branch agencies, and local governments. And whereas as president of the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Adams led the reorganization, expansion, and repositioning of Brooklyn's leading business assistance and economic development organization, increasing annual revenue from $800,000 to $6 million, launching economic development initiatives. And whereas Mr. Adams is chairman of the State of New York Sunny May HFA and their affiliated state affordable housing agencies, director of the New York City Employment and Training Coalition and Queens Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and a trustee of the Bronx Charter School for Excellence. And whereas Mr. Adams earned a BA and MA from Middlebury College, graduating Phi Beta Kappa magna cum laude, and whereas a search committee chaired by Trustee Charles Shorter conducted a nationwide search beginning in January 2020 and recommended Mr. Adams as one of the finalists for the presidency of LaGuardia Community College, and whereas after consultation with various LaGuardia Community College stakeholders, the Chancellor is recommending Mr. Adams as LaGuardia's president. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the appointment of Kenneth Adams as president, LaGuardia Community College, effective August 17, 2020, and an annual salary of $270,000. The explanation, Mr. Adams' accomplishments, experience, and education make him particularly suited for this leadership role at LaGuardia Community College. The Chancellor strongly recommends this appointment.
Okay, let me make a motion to add item 18 to our agenda. Do I have a second?
Second, Oberfeld.
Okay, the item has been added. Let me now present item number 18. May I have a second for that?
Second, Oberfeld.
Wilkins.
Thank you. Chancellor?
Thank you again, and again, I want to thank the search committee members who, again, did a great job at bringing an extremely solid and robust pool of candidates. Trustee Shorter, who was the chair, and Trustees Berger and Arbonides were part. President Johnson-Eanes, who was the president, who was representing the president in the group. Thank you for the hard work. There's a common theme that runs through the appointments of the three community college presidents today, and it's a commitment and a dedication to areas of workforce development, of career engagement. This is something that is key to the future of CUNY, of our community college, and couldn't be more timely given the effects of the COVID crisis in our economy and the employment of all New Yorkers. So in this aspect, like Dr. Monroe and Mangino, Mr. Adams has an incredible track record in this area. It is his passion, has the experience and the networks to be able to do that. He knows the City University of New York, worked extremely well with faculty in his role as Dean of Workforce and Continuing Ed at Bronx Community College, something that is not always easy to do. So extremely happy to have President Adams take over the long tradition of excellence at LaGuardia.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item? Before we vote, let me just thank my colleagues for their participation and leadership on the search committees. We're naming, three, at least, committee presidents that have gone through a search, and without your involvement and leadership, it would not have occurred. And let me also thank you, Chancellor, for your leadership as we move forward and continuing to get stronger as a CUNY institution. So thank you so much. With that, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item is approved. Congratulations, Mr. Adams. There being no further business, a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second for that?
Second. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
I think.
Thank you.
All my best.
Thank you.